everyone. Welcome to Mwsstudios, where we create freedom doing what we love. And today we got a special guest, my brother, my friend, entrepreneur spirits right here. Um, he has multiple businesses. He has multiple ventures. He he is a leader in the community. He has helped us do so much and showed us a different way of doing things. We have Dellguan Coleman
What's
right
up,
here,
my brother?
y'all.
What's up, my brother?
How's it going, man? I had to do a brief little introduction of you. Like it was small, but what we're gonna talk about is gonna be all about you. So what we're doing today is segments, interviews with creators, local artists, independent people in general, where we talk about the nitty-gritty, the real, everything that most people want to hear and want to talk about, but people just don't. And this segment is really all about you as a creator.
I appreciate that, man. It's kind of first, but I'm open because
Yeah.
I'm always for the people, so it's cool. But man, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it, man. So let me first by saying, man, I'm proud of you.
Man,
I'm proud
thank
of
you,
you.
man.
I've been watching you for a long time. I think I've been watching you since I was 24. I'm 33 now, so I've been inspired by you since I was 24 years old.
Man, thank you. That's tough. I
Now,
like
now,
that.
a little history because I've been watching you for a minute, so this may be old to you. Um, I think you was. I'm not sure if you was in a rap group or you were recording in a rap group, but it was a video way back on YouTube called Fly Society. And you
Oh
was
yeah, me. Yeah, me.
ye-
It was a rap group. Yeah,
yeah, I was a fan. I was a fan of the Fly
yeah. That's
Society.
tough. That's tough.
So I think that
Yeah,
was what, like 9 years ago.
yeah. Probably.
And then it's like a series of videos on YouTube. I gotta go back on your channel. It's been a long time since I've been on it.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, me and your side, the
Yeah,
Fly
yeah.
Society.
So that's how I really got introduced to you. And what's crazy about it, I didn't even know we went to the same school,
Yeah, Carver.
Carver High School. So we really, really connected like that
Right.
for real.
That's our
Um,
motto.
yeah. Um, so going into let's go and get started with this section, man. So I want to know, how did you get started in the
Mm.
in the film
Oh,
industry?
oh, with the films?
Yeah, because I want to get into all of it, but we just
Yeah,
gonna
yeah, that's
break it
cool.
down. So my main
Yeah.
thing is because you're a local creator right here in Memphis. So I want to know, how did you get started in the film industry?
I shot a I shot a short. I wanted to do a short and I shot a short called My Cousin's Husband. And I got together like a group of filmmakers and directors. I was like, hey, let's do one together
Yep.
as a unit, because I was looking at how Atlanta, how all of them was like working together. So I was like, let's do something together, for the city.
Yep.
And we shot the first episode and it bubbled, you know. So it caught wind and everybody was like sharing it and, talking about it. And I didn't know how fast the internet was moving because, usually once you shoot, I was just gonna shoot a short and just leave it at that.
Yep.
And usually, back in the day, you could film something or shoot a video. Nobody's like asking you the next day, yo, where's the next one?
Mm.
So they was like, where's the next one? So I had to continue it, and we just, we did part one,
Mm.
then part two, then part three,
Mm.
and it was like a series. We did like all the way to part five.
Yep.
And I was trying to keep all of the directors together. That was
Mm.
the toughest part. Unfortunately, it didn't work, but the movie go did. So
Right.
that was the birth of like movie go.
Movie go. So
When I started with My Cousin's Husband.
I got a question. So you say you got started with movie go with that, right? Now, I'm gonna dig deep in my bag when it comes to your inventory.
Come on with it.
Now, back in the day, you did a short film, but it really was like a music video to me. You was going by One Day, which you still go by One Day now. But do you remember Do You Love Me?
Ah, yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah, you know what? And I purposely shot that like a movie because I was like, I wanted to make it like a Alfred Hitchcock film.
Yeah.
And um, you know, I don't think people gravitated to the thought like with the video because I went so in depth with film.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot of a movie antics. So that's that was like my first short video film. Like, yep, that was it. Yep. And
So
that was
that's
before the short films.
right. So that was like I had to do my homework, man. I've been a fan. I didn't realize I was a fan of you for that long. Like I said,
I love it.
I started looking at you when I was 24, but I think it was a lot. I think it was right after I graduated high school because I graduated high school in 2010 and I started seeing work then. But then you was doing music videos. You was also doing is it videography? I think that's what it's called. You was doing that.
Videography.
Yup.
Uh-huh.
You was selling on the streets, selling your movies, DVDs. I already know all of it because right there on Third Street over there.
Yeah, yeah, my boy.
So
All facts.
I know what you was doing because it kind of inspired me. I was doing the same thing. So going forward into my next question, what really inspired you to you not only created Movie Go, but take it to that next level? You went from Movie Go to Green Thumb, from
Yeah.
Green Thumb to Wedding Heavens. From there, you went to Stream on Stream. So, what was your mindset transitioning to all those fields as not only a creator, but being a creator to business, like going to that next level like that?
I've always been a visionary. Okay. So, because the first company I made um the first mothership was Yes I Do, Wed in Heaven. And again, once I put the artist and the businessman together as one,
Mm-hmm.
it was like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You
Mm,
know what I'm saying?
yeah.
They're one. They're one. And it's I love both of them. I love Green Thumbs. Like I really love cutting yards and
Mm-hmm.
fixing things that something that was out of place. Like I'm looking at some bushes right now, and in my mind, I'm cutting them. I see it like, oh man, I could cut it like this, or shape them up like that. Kind of like Edward Scissorhands.
Mm-hmm.
He was a visionary with his scissor hands.
Yeah.
So I've always been a visionary. Just like when you brought up Fly Society, then you brought up Do You Love Me? I'm like, yo, you've been doing your homework for real. I didn't even know that you was like, checking it out that long. But
Yeah.
that was the first time I was like, I want to make like a movie video,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and um that I think that's how you get it,
Yep.
with me. You got a visionary
Mm-hmm.
and a businessman, pushed in one. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you got the artist and the businessman as one. And I love each company from Coleman and Neal to Green Thumbs to Movie Go
Yep.
and Wed in Heaven. I love all of them. I just want to put my own creative spin with it
Yep.
and put the medicine in the candy for the culture.
Makes sense. So I was gonna
Mm.
ask you, now going back to the movie thing, now we have this combination of who you are and how you do things. How do you approach storytelling and character development? Because I remember two specific movies that you did. They
Hmm.
were very creative. It was simple but very creative. And this is where I want your input on it. You did
Yeah.
The Last Girl on Earth.
Oh
Then you
yeah.
did Airbnb 1313, if I remember correct. Now,
1333.
yeah. So with
Yeah.
those, there were simple stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they were set up differently with the character, well, characters, if I had it right,
Mm-hmm.
because you turned the Airbnb into its own character. Then you had The Last Girl on Earth, where it's solely centered around The Last Girl on Earth. So
Right.
how do you go about approaching storytelling and character development, given with those two movies?
I got you. With The Last Girl on Earth, right? I wanted to make the shortest short film in the world.
Mm,
Well, to me, at least. I want to make a super duper short. But, you got to remember, I tell people this all the time. A movie or a conversation, or even with this right here, it's a beginning, middle, and an end.
mhm,
So you just want all three of those to kind of have some, glue to it.
mhm,
So with the Last Girl on Earth, um, I heard Morgan Freeman in my mind saying, "Once upon a time, there lived a girl,
mhm,
the last girl on Earth." No. Once upon a time, there was a girl. I don't know, she lived all alone, or she was the last girl on Earth, or whatever, and somehow I forgot it, and then suddenly there was a knock at the door.
yo,
You know what I'm saying? And that was it. That was just gonna be the short, you know. And every time I would uh take it to my team or take it to people that did film or actors, whenever I would tell that short, they would always say, "Well, who's at the door?"
mhm,
And everybody kept saying. So I was like, I don't know who would be at the door. Like, what would make this interesting? Once upon a time there lived a girl, the last girl on Earth. Now, once upon a time there lived a girl. She was the last girl on Earth. She lived. I don't know, man. She lived all alone. I'm trying to remember
mhm,
what I wrote, but it ends with, and there was a knock at the door. So now you're like, well, if she's the last girl on Earth, who would be knocking at her door?
right,
And that's what everybody was asking me that. So I was like, um, man, what would make it interesting? And if she's the last girl on Earth, the only thing that to me would make it interesting is, well, what if it was a boy on the other side?
mm,
You know what I'm saying?
mm,
And I went from there. So I shot it, and I wanted to see if I could. Ironically, the pandemic uh, uh, was happening, or it was about to happen.
yo,
So people start going in the house, and it was kind of perfect. You know what I'm saying? It was perfect for me because I'm filming,
mhm,
and I'm filming The Last Girl on Earth. So every time we shot, if we did any outside scenes, everybody was in the house, so it looked like she was actually the last girl on Earth.
yo,
So it worked out. And um, for the story, it's a lot of what do we call those, Easter eggs. It's a ton of Easter eggs with the last girl on Earth. Her name is V. Um, um, the boy at the door name is Adam. Um, if you move V, if you spell VVEE, you move it around, it's Eve. Um, it's a ton of Easter eggs, and I did that on purpose. But the whole story is about two introverts. Because once they kiss, because at first they didn't see nobody when they was walking through the park, or in the garden. Remember that? I don't know if you remember the story, but they're in the garden at the end, and they got um masks around their nose and
yeah,
mouth. That had nothing to do with the pandemic because I had already shot it. So
right,
their thing was don't breathe in it, because I had a quote from Lil Wayne. He said, "I'm gonna hold my breath because love is in the air." And they didn't want to catch this thing called oval,
mhm,
OVEL. But if you move all the words around, it spell love.
mhm,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
So once they took the mask off, and the girl was like, "Well, what about the oval?" And he was like, "What about love?" And they kissed. You see I think a boy passed them on a skateboard. So now you're like, what? I thought nobody I thought there was the last two people on the planet. And then it goes right back. Once upon a time, there was a girl and a boy who thought that they was the last people on Earth until they met each other, and then you see everybody at the park. Ironically, that was the first day that everybody started coming out of the pandemic, and it just worked in my favor. So it's like life emulating art. Yeah, I swear to God, that's how it worked. It came out, and all of that was just real. When none of that staged, ironically, it worked out. And the whole story is just about two introverts. They just didn't see the world.
That is beautiful, man, how you operate as a visionary and bring in your ideas into reality. And since then, you've been on it. Like, it's not a day or a month go by, really, where you're not producing some type of film.
It's a company. Movie goes a service, and we take in films, we film, we produce films for people. I love it. Again, I'm a visionary. I love the arts. I'm always in the search for a great story. So even with Airbnb 1333, I just wanted to make a cool horror flick that was based around Airbnb. Why not make because to me, I like psychological thrillers, and it's all about. See, horror is no different from a magic trick or comedy. The punchline. You see what I'm saying? Jump scares and punchlines are the same thing. One makes you laugh, one makes you scared. Jump is in fear. But to me, horror is psychological. I like psychological horror, not gruel and guts and people throwing up blood and eyes bulging out. No, I like the psychological thrillers where once you finish watching the movie, it's in the house, it's at home with you in your mind. So you're scared to, turn out the lights because you think the shadow man is going to pull up. You know what I'm saying? And to me, the key to making something scary is making it scary. Like, if I put you in a room and there's a chair, I say, now how can we make this terrifying? Just a room and you got the chair. So now we create a story around the chair. Or the room in the chair. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we develop. So it's not about always the monsters. Like, you don't necessarily have, like, even though we created the Shadow Man and we got Flesh Crawl and you have Jason Voorhees or whatever, but when you think about the Sixth Sense, there aren't any monsters. It's psychological.
Right.
When a little boy, like, I see dead people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not throwing any shade to movies like Nightmare on Elm Street when you got characters like Freddy Krueger, or we got Flesh Crawl for hide and seek. But Airbnb is more so kind of psychological, and you meet different entities through the door once she enters the house. And no matter what door she goes in, she's in another dimension inside of the house.
You know what's funny? What Airbnb remind me of? It's a mixture of cabin fever and escape room mixed in one. Because every time she was going through those rooms, everything is set in one setting, and no matter what the girl did in that film, something was always changing. Hinting the psychologically part of cabin fever, what was going on in there. It was psychologically at first until it became a real thing. Then referencing the escape room, like you said, it was just moving doors. Going back to your film, the same thing going with escape room. So I thought that was pretty interesting how you could tell us about how you develop characters and these stories. It is pretty fascinating.
And I'm creating a horror universe again because I'm a fan of it now. I'm a fan of Christmas movies too. But with Airbnb, Grandma, Shadow Man, they're all connected. They're Easter eggs. It's all connected. Just like with Airbnb, right? It's a scene in there where she's running from Mimic, the guy that's mimicking her. Remember that in the hallway or whatever?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she runs and she gets up under she gets away from him and she closes the
They
door.
close the door.
And then she ends up in what? A dark closet. She just entered the ending of Grandma. If you watch, I got a short called Grandma. If you watch the ending of Grandma on all of my horror flicks, watch it. Watch until the credits roll, because after the credits roll, it comes back on for
Okay.
another with another Easter egg. So in Airbnb, when she's in the closet, that's the end. She's stepping into the ending where the house, the babysitter was killed.
Mm,
She just walked. She's coming inside of that. She just went into that world
mm,
on Airbnb. That's why if you notice at the end of Grandma, the 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 babysitter is in the shower dead, right?
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I'm just saying, just watch it. She's dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you go to Airbnb, when she enters the same, I'm talking about it's the same set. She's in the same story.
Mm-hmm.
She looks around and she sees the grandmother with the little girl, and then you see the foot of the babysitter hanging out of the shower, like
Wow.
in the bathroom. Right. So she just walked into that world. Not even that. She
Everything's
just entered that movie.
everything's
Yeah.
connected. That's pretty
It's
cool.
yeah.
But your creative process is fly, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Man, I don't know how I see it,
Yeah,
but I just do, And I'm a fan of different filmmakers. Like M. Night is like one of my favorites.
yeah. You
Yeah.
know what's great about your creative process? It heavily depends on relationships. You build a lot of relationships with a lot of people, which
Oh
which
yeah.
which led to us meeting. So I was gonna ask you, could you expand on that? Like, how did we get in contact? How did we build the relationship that we have now from your perspective?
Um, as an entrepreneur, especially if you're full time, um, your survival is relationships. I mean, of course, you need customers, consumers,
Hmm.
but I always say this: cash is king, credit is queen, but relationships is God.
Mm,
It's things in relationships that money can't and credit just can't get you through those doors.
right.
You see what I'm saying? I got relationships with people that nobody cares about, how much capital you got.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's basically how we met. I think it was through Deborah, not
Yes.
knowing that we all went to Carver, or we all, in South Memphis, or however
Yeah.
whatever. But I'm saying that relationship, where Deborah, I did my first indie film night. Deborah was there.
Hmm.
Deborah reached out to me. She was like, I like your concepts, XYZ.
Hmm.
We connected, and she introduced me to you, and here
Hmm.
we are.
That is true.
You
And
know,
we've been strong ever since. Like
a 100%.
me and Deborah go way back. We was all through high school together. So I already knew what Deborah was on and what she's about as an individual. She was more than just
Right.
an entrepreneur. I saw her as a trailblazer.
Right.
Deborah has always been a trailblazer. She set her own path. She knew what she wanted to do, and she went for it. And
Right.
look at her now. She is just a light when it comes to this creative thing. If she
Right.
sets her mind to something, she will get it done. And it's
Oh yeah, I've always seen
yo,
like the light in her. That's why it worked for so long with us.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because, and that's another thing. I always like, but that's a fault of mine too.
yeah.
I'm always looking at the good in people. I'm
Same.
always like, yeah, so I'm always like, oh, 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 she's a little devil, but I see good in her. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Or
Hmm.
he has bad habits, but I see good in him. And I think that's the visionary, that
Yeah.
side of me, you know,
Yeah.
that I can, you know, I can look at something like I remember the Shadow Man, like the first time, I can't think his name. Damn, he'll kill me if he hear this. But when he brought the Shadow Man to us, you know, nobody gravitated to the idea, but I saw potential,
Yeah.
and I was just like, man, let me do a version.
You're the you're the archetype, the half glass full archetype. Like
Oh yeah, yeah,
someone can
yeah.
set that glass of water and it's half full, but you see the potential in it. That's you. That's you.
Yeah, I always see a hat full for some reason. I always see that. That's that, and you know, that's how you can tell who you're dealing with real quick. If you get if you ask somebody, or if you, we did that in the 901 union meeting one time. We was like, I asked the guy, I was like, because you know it was a lot of pushback in the meeting,
Yeah.
and I said, hey, can I ask you a question? I said, if there's a glass of water, and I said it's um it's level, it's halfway.
Mm,
Is it halfway full or is it half empty? You know, if it's in the middle, if the water's in the middle, is it halfway full or half empty? And he said it's half empty. So that means he was viewing everything in the meeting as a pessimist. He was pessimistic versus optimistic.
yeah.
People that see the glass half full are optimistic. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's half full. But people that are pessimistic, they see it's half empty.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of that's where a lot of the pushback was coming from, because he was more like a negative Nancy at the moment.
Yeah. And I
Hmm.
remember yeah, I remember that going into the 901 meeting with a lot of meetings that we had.
Hmm.
I came in similar to you with the glass half full, but I was extremely optimistic about a lot of things. I actually came in, technically, I came in with my glass full. Let's just call it what it is. I
Right.
I showed up, showed out. It's like, hey, this is who I am, because Deborah introduced me, and I came out with a streamline full of stuff. I had
Right.
my comics, I had my website, I had all these things, the events that I was doing. And then I was planning to do an event in Memphis. It's where we met in person physically. I was at a comic book shop, not on one comics,
Yep.
and
Yep.
I did a major event there. Not only I lined up my book event, I also lined it up. Hold up. Oh, great, bro. 1 second.
You good?
Okay, I also lined up another event with the Green Ranger at the time. So this is like my
Oh
sixth or
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
this is
remember
like
that.
my sixth or seventh event that I did so far. Linked up with him. He was gonna be in town. He was like, hey, we all wanted to do everything on the same day. I didn't want to change my day because all the people was coming. He was like, hey, let's work out something, man. You can come at this time and then it'll bleed into mine, but that's okay. I'll be leaving. I like, that's great. I lined up. I said, I sent you the link. We set it up on 901 Union. Not only did all the people from 901 Union came, we had all the people from everybody who's in the Power Rangers came. And I was able to
Right.
sell out. I used that to my advantage and sell out all my books. Not
Right.
only that, I met, you know, the Green Ranger in person. We exchanged words, took some pictures. He bought my book, vice versa. And it was a whole thing. And then we finally met in person. And that was a great day. Like, I was dog tired from all the events that I was doing prior to, but I sold out. I linked up with you. I linked up with Tanya. Tanya made me some things. I sold that too. Gave her
Oh yeah,
several
the posters.
profits. Yeah,
Yeah, those
sold out
posters.
those. I was like, we got to do this again.
Yeah.
And from there, we ended up doing more events. So I just kept coming back and forth to Memphis because, I left Memphis and I was in Atlanta at the time. And I just kept making trips back and forth. And now I'm in Florida and I still make trips back and forth to Memphis to show support, give love, give back. And that's just based on my relationships, who I know, and giving back to people. And every time you have an event, I do my best to come or show some type of support, buy a ticket or something. That's just us
100%. Right.
giving back. Like, I bought a hat from Coleman and Neal. I can't fit it, but I still rock that thing. That's just the relationships that we have that's important as individuals.
Right.
And our relationship grew, which led to another event that I did, and you gave me something that was incredible. I was struggling going to this event. I came back to Memphis last year. I was trying to give back to my community. I gave $500 in scholarships to like 7 individuals. Went to my school, went to some other places, gave out all that money, and that just came from selling comics.
That's tough.
Then I had that event which you came to. Not all the people I wanted to come didn't come from the school, but it was a few people that came random, including yourself. You got online. It's like, hey, my brother Steve doing this. Come on down. That was a good thing for me. And then on top of that, you recorded it. I recorded that entire presentation. I had food, I had people sharing comics, posters. It was a whole vibe. And it started off negative, but like me being optimistic, I turned it into a whole thing. And I've been doing events ever since based on our connection.
That's tough, man. That's beautiful, man.
It's wild, like how connections can grow and do things. Like you even came to me like, hey man, we gotta do a movie. I like, a movie? I ain't know how much of a fan you was of the Micro War series.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, you know, definitely I'm a fan. And when you did the presentation, it just blew my mind. I'm just like, oh, this dude is ready for, like, you know, we need to create this like Comic-Con or something, man, because I'm just like, this is madness. And the setup, but the presentation really swept me off my feet because I didn't know you had like, I think you had like board games. You had a video game.
I did do that.
Man, I'm just like, that's tough, man.
It's actually done. It's still, the mock-ups are done. The demos are done, and I'm waiting on patents to get back because I'm trying to decide, do I want to release this physically or digitally, and I haven't decided yet. But I will have a demo, electronic demo ready for Christmas this year. So when that's done, that's why I haven't released it, and I'll send you a picture of what it is. But I haven't released it yet because of that fact, because I don't know which direction I want to do. Yeah, if you're going to do this, because of my relationships with people, keep those strong, but also have a goal in mind as well. You have to take this serious, but also have fun. You got to have fun. It's like we met on an entrepreneur spirit, but we met on 3 different levels. We met spiritually, physically, and there's that mental connection that we had. We do things a lot similar, and we prep for things. And sometimes when you in the spirit, you just do.
Right.
You just do. But in that case, I did all 3, which impressed you. You not only did you record it, you got on Facebook and let people know what was going on, and you gave your honest thoughts on it. I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't even know you did that until after the event was over.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Well, I thought I should, you know, because, you know, we fam, you know, we friends, we fam, you know. I always say I ain't got friends no more, you either family or not. So, you know, I like it just like family. Why wouldn't I do that though? Why wouldn't I push and promote you?
Yeah, that was definitely respect. And I push you, and I do your links. I try to come into all your live events and stuff like that when I can.
Right.
And when you be on the Facebook Live, you be on the go. So
I know, right?
Yeah, relationships are important. They are very important. I was gonna say, let's go into this next segment. This next segment about challenges and proud moments.
Hey you guys, Rashida here. You don't know me, but I want to get to know you. Would you like to know my story? See how I go through trial and error to become a great Hadori, alongside Sneakers McGee and Squeezy in the world of Micro Wars. Fight the good fight. See different perspectives on what it's really like when teenagers get access to superpowers. And no story is complete without the evil Mr. Slim trying to take over our cities. Would you like to join us on our journey? If so, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe to us on Facebook and Instagram, Micro Wars. And if you want to cop some fresh merch or even the latest comic, make sure you visit www.mwsstudios.com. And don't forget about our webtoon series as well. We can't wait to meet you guys on the inside. Catch you later.
So yeah, we talking about challenges and proud moments. What have been some of the biggest challenges you faced in your career as an entrepreneur?
The biggest challenges as an
Yes.
entrepreneur, um, getting getting black people to work together
Mm,
culturally. That's the biggest, keeping us, like, getting us, having us to work together, trying to get us to work together. Because
mm,
that's been one of my missions, you know. I can do it with help, but that's been my one of my biggest challenges because, um, like the 901 union,
yeah.
Deborah saw, uh, she saw my template. I talked about it,
Hmm.
and she was fascinated with the idea. But I
Hmm.
was like, nah, I don't think nobody's ready for that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think they're ready for that. She was like, no, well, let me set it up and let me quarterback it. And I'm like, bet, it's all in your hand. I back you, because I came up with the idea.
Right.
And she's like, bet. So that's how it all came. The 901 union came about,
It makes
you
sense.
know. Yeah, but keeping the 901 union together, or us, period, because again, remember at the beginning of this interview, I was just like, hey, movie go, or is with the film. For me, it all started with me trying to do like a co-venture with a bunch of filmmakers. And again, the project kept going, but I lost all of the directors. And that would have been the coolest thing. Like, imagine Spike Lee, Tyler Perry, mm, um, um, uh, 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 what's his name? What he always with Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, and who shot Get Out? What's his name? I can't think of it right now. The
Peele, Keen,
Jordan Peele,
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele, right? Imagine those four people came together, right, and did a project. Like, they all worked on one film. We wouldn't care what the film was about, just to see those four names. The movie could be about cutting grass, but to see those four names, all of them working together, that will blow your mind, our mind as a culture. But how can we work together when we have no examples of black leaders or whoever they supposed to be never work together? You see what I'm saying? That's always been my thing, working together. I mean,
Yeah, that makes
it's
sense.
it's yeah, it's Coben and Neil. It's me and my partner. You see what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
um,
What
with
I
the
f-
901 union,
yeah.
look at it, it was a group of us. You know what I'm saying?
What I find effective, and I've been practicing this for some time now, is when you try to get people to work together, they have to want to work together. But the best example to do to get that result that you're looking for is to lead by example. And you've been doing that. You've been doing
Yeah.
an excellent job like that because if you lead by example, someone, they may not act right away, but they're always watching you. And then my graphics teacher taught me this lesson. If you can catch the eyes, you can catch the mind. They see you doing these things, and eventually they're gonna start thinking in their mind, like, how are they doing that? They're gonna want to reach out to you. They're gonna want to ask questions. They're gonna try to mimic what you're doing. It's kind of like what YouTube is. Everyone should, if they don't have one already, is to have a YouTube channel. I just created one myself. Um, but everyone's doing something and they're all connected in some form or fashion, especially when it comes to like things that trend. Oh, it's trending. They're going to want to do it. If you're doing positive, someone down the line is someone's going to see it and they're going to want to do as much positive as you're doing. Kind of like you said, put the medicine in the candy. So your medicine is that you lead by example and you do these things. You may not be able to help everybody, but you can help somebody. And that's the
I,
beauty of part of what you're doing because you've been leading by the example for so long. You not only inspired me, you inspired Deborah, you inspired everyone in the 901 union to take a leap of faith on not only themselves, but the people around them and build those relationships. And as a result, look at what, not only what you've done, but what we have done as a culture.
Right. Right. I agree with that 100%. Now, like, I check this out. Look at the mark that Marcus Garvey left before he died, or Malcolm X left before he died, or Martin Luther King left before he died, right? But imagine how much ground they could have covered if they would have did just 2 events together as a culture. You see what I'm saying? It shouldn't have been Malcolm and Martin separated. You see what I'm
Makes
saying?
sense.
Just like as 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 cool as Microsoft and Apple is, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, right? They still did co-ventures together. It might not have been as public as it should have been, or probably because the narrative is they're arch rivals. You see what I'm saying? It's Magneto and the X-Men, Dr. Xavier, or whatever. But in reality, they have done co-ventures together to keep this thing going. And a lot of people don't know that. But and of course I lead by example, but I could cover so much ground with help, with real help. You see what I'm saying? Because like even with my first indie film night and how I met Deborah, Q, a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? Number one, nobody was like, the reason I did it because they were saying, because I was like, how do indie filmmakers make money from doing shorts or whatever? And they was like, you don't make money. I was like, why? It was like, you just don't. I was like, oh yeah, I don't know business. So that's when I put Movie Go together in the indie film night, and I made sure everybody got paid. I put a
Yep.
system together,
Yep.
And I'm open. I'm open to work with generals and leaders.
Yep.
I'm very much open. It's just that egos get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us don't want to share if vanity gets in the way.
Right.
They don't want to share their imaginary throne, because if it's not each one teach one, if it's not like Chinese proverbs says, one generation plants the seed so the next generation can get the shade. If that's not the end game, it doesn't matter on how many cars you got solo, or you got how much money you got by yourself, you and your crew. It doesn't matter, because we lose as a whole and everybody else works as a collective.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
That makes sense, because I have a rule, because of what you said. I have a rule that I abide by, and no one's bigger than the project.
Right.
No one's bigger than the project. So let's say you have a project, right? It's your idea and you need help. You say, hey, I need Steve to help me on this project. All right, I'm gonna help. Tell me what I need to do. I'm gonna focus on the project because that's the goal.
Right.
And no one's bigger than the project. And that way no egos get involved. No, all that stuff everything that you just named is eliminated because we're all focused on the project. Now,
Right.
if I had an idea and I need your help, I'll do the same. Like, hey, I need help on this project. No matter what it is, I just need help on it, and let's work on it. Everybody gets what they need done from it, but at the end of the day, everyone will get credit. It's respectable, and we can put it out into the world. Whether it goes big or fail or not, it doesn't matter. It's just the fact that we all put in this time and effort into it, and we put it out into the world. Of course, everyone wants to get paid and things like that, but there's ways to do it. There's definitely ways to do it, and there's methods to do so. And the fact that most people don't follow those rules, that is the problem.
And again, like, I always set up a system where everybody eats. I'm going to do that anyways. It's just my thing, even with the 901 union. And I'm only bringing that up because me and you both were part of that, and I always made sure, everybody got their thoughts out, everybody promoted their business. And even, like I set up a system where per month we supported per entrepreneur. So everybody got a win. So like the month of November could have been like you know what I'm saying? Like everybody had to buy a comic book from you
Yep.
in the 901 union. So we was empowering a business per month. So everybody would win
Yeah. And
inevitably,
I was gonna tell you that that idea that you had, it actually worked. Like what people don't know, I network a lot within the 901 union. On top of that, I get sales out of it. You created a network and it does work. Not only that, I combined the 901 union with all the people that I met and I built my network. And for 5 to 6 years, I just been selling books. I made milestones, as you will say. I made significant milestones in this particular industry for myself, and I'm extremely successful in it. Last year, 2023, at the end of last year, I ended up selling 5,000 books.
That's beautiful,
And
man.
then all those books, issues 1 through 7, are actually in the libraries here in Florida. All 7 of them.
That's tough.
So that was a huge milestone for me. And now I'm moving on to other things as a publisher and developer. I'm not just a comic book person. I don't know why people thought about that, because I'm a graphics person at heart. But that's just the first project that I decided to work on was a comic book. And I'm developing other products on the side. But all that came into fruition because I networked with people, built a great relationship with you. I took the medicine that was in the candy that you were putting out and I applied it. And now that we have this strong relationship that we have, we can pretty much do whatever we want and it'll come out gold.
Right.
Whether we win or lose or not, it'll still be gold.
I mean, look what happened when you came down here.
Yeah.
I'm filming, everybody was just working together. Like, man, it works better as a unit. I don't care.
It
Like,
does.
by yourself is no fun. I don't do anything. I put teams together for, like I got a wedding to do tomorrow. I already got a team in place. Even if something, God forbid, something happened to me,
Yeah.
they're already in place. They know exactly what to do. You know what I'm saying? As a unit, and it works out. I did a wedding last week and brought some new people together, and it worked out. Everybody had the same great skill set. We understood the language.
Yeah.
We picked out who was going to be the quarterback, who's going to quarterback the wedding, and it worked out. So it's easier that, and it cut down on so much time versus me trying. I could have did the wedding pretty much by myself on the photography and videography end. But if I got a team, man, I cut down so much time, man. We made so much progress.
So
working together.
So is it safe to say that the 901 union is I would say a proud project that you worked on, or a proud moment that you worked on for you?
100%. I think one of my proudest moments was the indie film night, because they told me it was impossible. Like they was like, indie filmmakers and directors don't get paid. And I made sure everybody won by letting them sell tickets and keep the money. Because I had the house, I had the building, so I'm good. I'm gonna make money regardless. But I gave all the directors tickets, and I was like, yo, just fill these seats up. Y'all can have the money, y'all can keep the money. So they was making capital for 10-minute shorts, because I only wanted a 10-minute short. That's it. And I gave them tickets. I'm like, y'all can keep the money. So for 10 minutes, look, they made a ton of capital.
That is true.
Full equity. I didn't get no cuts from it. They got the full whatever they sold their tickets for.
Okay.
They got full equity. Yeah, because I had the house. I was cool. I had the house. So with that being said, I beat the status quo. I turned impossible to possible.
Right.
They was like, you just don't. And everybody was telling me that, because I was fresh to the game. I didn't know anything about shorts. I just know I like shorts because you can tell a whole movie within 10 minutes and stuff like that. I just thought that was neat, you know, or whatever, however minutes you want to tell your short end.
Right.
And I just thought that was neat. So I'm proud of the 901 union and everything that I've put together.
Uh-huh.
But I would love to see us working together as a unit culturally.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. That makes sense.
the end game. Yeah.
Now that we're talking about this a little bit more, I would say we're talking about the industry, and it's all the things that we really talked about specifically. It's really just independent stuff, right? As an independent creator, how do you see the industry evolving, especially for independent creators?
Again, goes right back to imagine just look at us. We got two independents working together. Can't nobody stop us.
True.
Now imagine if we got 200 independents working together. We got our own building. Say,
Right.
okay, so another one of my missions is to have a movie go studio or headquarters. We got
Right.
different floors, different tiers. We're gonna say 5 floors or 6 floors. And the first floor is the check-in, and you get to see, look around and see different rooms of, makeup rooms or different studios and yada yada yada, meeting rooms, boardrooms, or whatever. The second floor, we might have a green room or a production room where we film and if you would do podcasts or whatever. The third floor, we got the floor looks exactly like a hotel. You don't have to go home. So anybody that's a part of this 901 union or with movie go or they come from out of town, they don't have to get a hotel because on the third floor it is a hotel.
Right.
It's nothing but rooms. The fourth floor we got production.
Right.
Where we can print up your posters, your shirts, your hard copies, your books, your comic books, your magazines, your novels.
Right.
And the fifth floor, we got a cafeteria where, you want to get some good food. We got a rooftop and yada, yada, yada. You know what I'm saying? We feed you. And again, on the third floor, you ain't got to go home if you're part of this union or you coming in from out of town to film. Now, just imagine it, us as independents coming together to create this one thing, right? Look how strong we are. We wouldn't even think about Hollywood because we got our own network.
Makes sense.
We got our own audience. Yeah, just like Tubi has its own audience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fan of Tubi as far as in like the production, but I get it.
It makes
sense.
I'm saying?
I'm over. Yeah, like I'm a fan of Apple because of the exclusivity.
Yeah.
Like they're in their own little world. You got to use Apple chargers. It's all connected. You know what I'm saying? You got to get the Apple update.
Yeah.
We can't even FaceTime each other if we both don't have an Apple phone. It might feel weird to the consumer that's Android, but the Apple people that are part of the Apple world, it's exclusive. It's their own little thing, and you can't knock that.
You can't knock that. No, I agree. As a culture, we should have. I believe in both ideals. I believe in having something just for us, which makes sense. But I also believe in. I'm an American too, so I'm an American, and I'm looking at what we're supposed to represent, a melting pot. I believe we should have something for everybody that we can just link up and do work together, regardless of what group you're from, ethnic group or relationship, any of that. It shouldn't matter. As a creative, where creatives can go and link up and work on different projects. And that should be honestly the ultimate goal.
100%. Yeah, because I'm always open to co-venture. I co-venture with anybody.
Yeah.
I do a co-venture with anybody because just like with the stuff that we deal with now, if we want to get something manufactured or published, we don't know these vendors, but most of the time these vendors are where? In Japan or India or whatever. That's a co-venture.
Yeah.
I gotta send you the design, or I gotta send you the capital so you can make my shoe, so you can make my this or make my shirt or whatever.
Makes sense.
If you don't have the machines to do it. Now the end game is again to build a safe haven.
Yes.
We have our own machines. We have, as much necessities that we can get our hands on. And
Basically,
when it comes to the production side, right? Because
yeah.
we want a safe haven.
So it's
You know,
FUBU.
we always want to be safe.
It's FUBU.
For us, by us,
Yeah,
100%.
that makes sense. So I definitely,
100%.
I'm definitely down with that 100%. I would say, what trends or changes are you excited about or concerned with in our independent industry space right now?
I'm excited about us being able to do co-ventures.
Okay.
Like look at this. You're recording this podcast, right?
Yes.
It's going to stay around as long as we promote it for. It's going to touch somebody else.
True.
Look how many people it can reach. Like back in the day before the internet, we can only reach so many people in a block radius or so many block radiuses.
Yeah.
But now, you got Florida, we got people in LA, Memphis, Nashville, Murfreesboro, Kentucky, St. Louis that are going to hear this interview, and hopefully the end game is to inspire before we expire. But even if we expire, it's done once you put it up.
Right.
And somebody's going to listen to this and be like, you know what? They're speaking from the heart.
Yeah.
Let me look these guys up. Yo, they do work together. We work together because we know too much about each other. So it ain't no contradiction in that.
This
It
is
ain't
true.
Like, yeah, it ain't like, I wonder if they're lying. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know too much.
Nah, like you in my pictures, you on everything. It's like you buy my products, I buy yours. It's there.
Right. And the truth just sound different.
True.
So the truth, you don't even have to know nobody. You just like, you know what, they're telling the truth. So with that being said, I'm excited with the fact that change is coming. I always say, as long as I'm living, change, it's coming.
That's true.
100%.
That's true. Like you said, it's pending. As you would say, it's pending.
Yep. As long as I'm living, change is pending.
So I'm gonna get you out of here on this one. What advice would you give to someone who's looking to be an independent creator, no matter what it is, whatever they're inspired to do? What advice would you give them going forward?
Do proper research.
Okay.
It's good to have a feeling. Like, the feeling is the morning shot, but doing proper research, because like motivation is beautiful, but discipline is better. You know what I'm saying? If it's sunny outside, it's a nice day, and butterflies are out and bumblebees are doing their deal. Of course, you're motivated to go out there and run if you're trying to lose weight and run, right? But what if it's storming or it's about to storm and it's raining or whatever, and you're supposed to work out 5 days a week, right? There's nothing motivated about water being soaking wet. But if you discipline, you look at it like you're challenging. You're like, oh, okay. Oh, now this is I have a brand new day. You know what I'm saying? This glass is half full. I'm just going to be wet, and maybe I can film this. And after I get through the storm, I'm going to dry off, and I'm going to be even better. And I can motivate other people to let them know to keep going. So motivation, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, motivation, man, is good, but discipline is better. So if you discipline, man, you're going to be all right.
This is true. I will add on to that. Have a plan. Have a plan, but just know you don't have to stick to that plan. You can always change it and modify it. Write all the things that you want to do. Do your research, as you say. Research the things that you really want to do, because there's knowledge everywhere. We have the internet, for crying out loud. We have the internet. You go see people. We have groups. We have Facebook groups. We have social media groups that you can go to and find someone in the industry that you're trying to get into, and ask questions. Ask plenty of questions. Get around. Take notes. Even join some of these groups. I will also add the fact that that's where you can start building good relationships with people. Don't be afraid to open up and listen, not only open up, but listen to what other people have to say, take your notes, but also express yourself thoroughly to where someone can understand you. That is, I won't say leave your heart, wear your heart on your sleeves. I would just say be truthful. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to accomplish it with this plan. And someone's going to listen to you, guaranteed. We are living proof of
And
that.
I want to add on to that because you like have a plan, right? But
Yeah,
don't be afraid because during the journey, like okay, you don't have to change the end game,
yeah,
but during the course, you're going to have to adapt to some things
yeah,
because of course you have a plan and then you draw a straight line to your goal.
yeah.
No, it's never going to end up like that.
It's not going to
That's
work like that.
never, that's not going to happen. You can have a plan in the beginning
Right.
and then have a plan at the end, and then you draw the lines or whatever as you go because you're going to have to do some curving,
Yep.
twisting, adapting,
Yep.
adjusting, but you don't have to change the mission statement. Like
Right.
at the end of the day, uh, I know I got to do some co-venturing and do some deals with people to get this movie go studio that I want. That's
Right.
5 stories, like what I just came up with. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it's gonna take a team.
True.
You know, so I'm not I'm not I'm not naive to
Mm-hmm.
the journey.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be some cold nights, dark nights, bright
Mm-hmm.
days, sunny days. You know, cold winters. You're gonna have some supporters. You
Mm-hmm.
might not have some supporters in the beginning. You got to stay ahead of the curve. You
Mm-hmm.
got to be uh, uh, I'm a fan of evolution, but even if you're not a fan of evolution, you're going to have to uh, be cordial with it. You're going to have to adapt to it because that same business model isn't the same business model that's 10 years
And I'm
ago.
glad you brought that up because I was going to speak on protection and professionalism. Be professional. Learn to be professional. There's plenty of books out here you can read, but you also just learn through experience. Be cordial, you know, be upfront. Like, hey, this is what I have. Because business is simple. You either got a
Yeah,
product or a service. So
that's it.
be upfront. And then how to protect yourself. You don't have to have a business to protect yourself or your ideas. You can just go through copyright.gov, depending on what your project is, get that thing, pay $50, upload your ideas up, and it's protected just on a copyright level. You can also do trademarks, and not only trademarks, you can do patents if you're inventing something. So you got 3 layers of protection. Now, the main one I like is just having the business in general. Now, every idea or something that I want to create, I put it through my business because the business is protected 100%.
Hmm.
It's not just me, it's the business. Everything that's being created is through the business. And I encourage people to protect themselves, whether you want to go the business route or your personal route. There's 3 layers of protections you can go through and you're good. You're really good.
100%.
And
Yep.
there's a lot of free resources out here. There's a lot of groups you can join. There's YouTube University. There's
Yeah,
YouTube
yeah. Because
University.
I was just telling somebody, and and this is food for thought.
Yep.
I know these seminars and these people they charge y'all arms and legs for meeting these quote unquote gurus or whatever. But let me tell you something. There's nothing that there's nothing nobody can say that's worth $10,000 that's not already out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
On the internet. Now, a service or a product, that's two different things. You're
True.
paying for that. But
Yep.
as far as the information, yo, there's nothing I can sell you. There's nothing I can say right now that's worth $5,000
Exactly.
that you can't find for free. That's why I'm
Exactly.
like, if you do proper research, everything that me and you talked about is already out. It
Yep.
might not be at that magnitude, but on the basic level, the basic, you know what I'm saying? You might not find a movie go. You're gonna find movie go when you look for movie go.
Yep.
But as far as in like independent films, how to make a movie, how to
Mm-hmm.
start a movie company or whatever, it's already out on the internet. So
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing nobody can say that's worth $10,000 that's not already out on the internet.
Exactly. And it's
That's
like
nothing.
It's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Right.
And that's where it comes from. Like, just because this is what I want people to stop doing is to stop comparing. We have no business comparing each other.
No,
The
we
problem,
collaborate.
the collaborate, that's the main thing. That's the goal. But the other part is if you have an idea, what Nike say, just do it.
Let's do it.
Just do it. No one's stopping you but you. So if you have an idea, you have a passion for something, just go out and do it. And there's no excuse why you can't learn something because we have the internet and we have people, we have relationships and resources. So use all that to get it done. To just go from, like, I wrote a book. Remember my event, Concept to Creation? That
Yep.
whole event that you filmed, I turned that into a book. I will be releasing it soon. I'm probably going to charge like $10 for it. It's a breakdown on how I created comics and going from concept to creation. Not only that, when you read it, you can just take the mindset of it, not just creating comics, but you can take that to create anything else that you want as well. So that was my little piece on it. And I just want people to know, like, hey, you can do this. If I can do it, you can. If Dellguan can do it, you can too. All you got to do is start.
That's it.
That's it. So what do people can find you, man?
On social media, you can just Google my first name if you want, Dellguan, Dellguan. I'm the only Dellguan on the planet, Dellguan Coleman. You can find pretty much all the companies on social media, whether if it's Movie Go, Waiting Heaven, yes I do,
Mhm.
Green Thumbs or Coleman in there, from Facebook to Instagram, the websites, and me.
Awesome.
I'm simple. Yeah, I'm simple, and I'm an open book. I'm just hard to read, but I don't wear fancy pants. If you reach out to me and I
Yep,
see it, I'm gonna actually talk back to you.
that's true.
If I see it. If I don't see it, that's not me acting fancy. I mean, I did see it, but if you reach out to me on my personal page
Yo,
and through Messenger and I see it, I'm gonna definitely respond,
true,
you
true.
know.
Any last words you want to say to the people?
Positive things happen to positive thinkers. Just think positive and watch how things line up. Positive things happen to positive thinkers.
That is true.
Yeah.
And that's our show, people. I want to say thank you all for listening. Thank you all for coming to MWS Studios, where we create freedom doing what we love. And that's exactly what we did today. We love y'all. Come back next time.